Raising Palestinian issues does not mean domestic problems ignored. Government will strive to attract more investments. Good evening, Salam Malaysia Madani. Watching Malaysia Tonight, I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim today clarified that his participation in international conferences where he raised issues related to Palestine does not mean that domestic problems, especially those affecting minorities, are ignored. In addition to accepting invitations from world leaders, Dato' Seri Anwar said he also saw these conferences as an opportunity for him to address humanitarian issues, emphasizing that the concerns are not solely religious in nature.
Tidak ada minoriti kita yang dibunuh beramai-ramai. Tidak ada kemusnahan gereja atau kuil-kuil. Jadi sementara dia kurang setuju dengan langkah kita menyokong Palestin, saya tidak fikir wajar, munsabah dan waras untuk dia bangkitkan soal kebencian ini. Soal di satu pihak lain pula mempertikai kenyataan saya bahawa ini bukan saja isu agama Islam. Ini kerana penduduk Kristian juga terlibat. Dan walaupun kebanyakan masjid dirobohkan, 7 gereja dimusnahkan sama sekali di Gaza. Jadi saya sekali lagi tegaskan bahawa keperluan kita melihat isu ini, ya, sama ada orang Islam bawa sebagai segi Islam, orang Kristian bangkit, tapi juga isu kemanusiaan yang harus difahami dan harus mencuit perasaan kita dan mendorong supaya tindakan lebih berkesan diambil.
He said this during the minister's questions time at the Dewan Rakyat sitting today. Dato' Seri Anwar, who is also finance minister, said that he had also raised the issues of Palestine at the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC Economic Leaders Meeting AELM in San Francisco and called for the immediate cessation of genocide and atrocities in Gaza. The government has appointed the National Research and Development R&D Centre, MEMOS Berhad, as the implementing agency for the National Digital Identity Programme or Digital ID. Dato' Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that an initial allocation of 80 million ringgit will be channelled next week to expedite the implementation of the programme. IDN or Digital ID is expected to increase the digital transformative capabilities of the country in line with the aspirations of the Madani concept.
Kita agak ketinggalan dalam beberapa bidang, padahal kita ada keupayaan, ada kemahiran, ada kepakaran. Jadi ada keperluan segera, memang ada peruntukan untuk maksud tersebut yang telah diluluskan untuk Kementerian Dalam Negeri. Tapi untuk mempercepatkan proses itu, kita segerakan dan minta program pelaksanaan itu diawalkan. Dan saya mendapat jaminan bahawa ia dapat disegerakan dalam tempoh 3 bulan dari sekarang.
He said this during an official visit to MEMOS Berhad in Taman Teknologi Malaysia, Bukit Jalil today. The Prime Minister also gave assurance that in addition to the initial allocation, several other approvals related to the digital ID programs would be completed by the end of this month. The Communications and Digital Ministry KKD through the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission MCMC is still examining the need to license or register large platform providers such as Google, Meta and TikTok. Its Deputy Minister Teo Ni Ching said among the matters being examined were implications from a policy point of view on services, investments, trade, as well as consumer safety aspects and taxation methods in Malaysia.
Pada masa ini, belum ada sebarang keputusan atau pendirian yang dibuat oleh kerajaan berhubung perkara ini. Walau bagaimanapun, usaha-usaha awal telah dilaksanakan melalui beberapa siri libat urus bertujuan untuk membincangkan dan mendapatkan input serta maklum balas daripada pelbagai pemegang taruh dan pihak-pihak yang berkepentingan di Malaysia berhubung perkara ini.
She said this in reply to a question from Dato' Iskandar Zulkarnain Abdul Khalid regarding the ongoing consideration of imposing licenses on major platform providers such as Google, Meta and TikTok, which generate revenue through content from local media organizations. The Deputy Minister added that a committee has also been established to look into issues related to legislation in order to determine the best method to achieve beneficial outcomes for all stakeholders, including the local media industry.
On another note, Teo said the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, will take down or block any obscene content based on the request of the police after receiving reports and complaints from users. She explained that MCMC does not play the role of Internet Police, instead provides technical assistance in terms of investigation, supplying of information,
menerima permohonan daripada PADRM ataupun agensi pelaksana undang-undang yang lain, barulah kita akan ambil tindakan. Oleh sebab itu, sangat-sangat penting adalah apabila seseorang, termasuklah ahli-ahli yang berhormat yang duduk di dalam Dewan Yang Mulia ini, apabila menemui kandungan yang sedemikian, buat laporan polis supaya pihak polis bolehlah hantar permohonan ini kepada kepada MCMC supaya kandungan itu boleh diturunkan ataupun laman web itu boleh disekat.
Teo also admitted that MCMC and the Ministry of Communications and Digital faced difficulties tackling the issue of lewd content, especially on closed platforms or applications like groups or channels. According to her, from 1st of January to the 15th of November this year, the MCMC has blocked a total of 118 porn websites based on the requests from the police, while 76 such content have been taken down on social media platforms for violating community standards stipulated by the social media platform providers.
Members of the public can get various services and offers on items provided by the ministries, government agencies and private companies at the 1 Year with the Madani Government Programme at the grounds of the National Stadium in Bukit Jalil from 8 to 10 December.
Ahmad Jeffrey Aziz, the Executive Director of the Project Acceleration and Coordination Unit, PACU, of the Prime Minister's Department, said some of the services aimed at dealing with poverty that will be available at the 3-day program include the offer of affordable homes, registration for kasih assistance, as well as the Mega Madani sale. He said the public could also get job opportunities provided by 70 government-linked and private companies and by participating in the Career Carnival organised by Khazanah Nasional Berhad with the cooperation of the Social Security Organisation, Perkeso, and Public Service Department at the program. Ahmad Jari said various health screenings would also be provided for free, including eyes, cancer and mammograms.
Saya menjemput semua rakyat di sekitar Lembah Kelang, khususnya di negeri Selangor, untuk sama-sama dengan Kerajaan Madani untuk kita lihat sendiri apakah inisiatif ataupun pencapaian program-program yang telah dilaksanakan sepanjang tahun. Dan kita juga akan ada sesi penjelasan dan juga rakyat boleh memberikan maklum balas berkenaan dengan inisiatif kerajaan. Dan daripada semasa ke semasa, program-program kerajaan ini akan sentiasa ditambah baik, dan ini adalah satu program ataupun satu opportunity ataupun peluang untuk rakyat bersama-sama dengan kementerian dan agensi untuk mendapatkan perkhidmatan-perkhidmatan yang saya sebutkan tadi.
The highlight of the program is the closing ceremony by the Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim on the 10th of December.
People residing near Sungai Golok in Rantau Panjang were told to be alert in facing the possibility of major flooding in the near future. Villagers near Kampung Tersang, Rantau Panjang were today seen making preparations to ensure that all necessities and important personal documents would be prioritised in the event of flooding.
Rantau Panjang residents, especially those living near Sungai Golok, are beginning to take precautionary steps after water levels have risen this morning. Kelantan Fire and Rescue Director Zainal Amada Zain, however, noted that flooding in the area was still under control.
Setiap jam tu kita akan buat rondaan dan tengok keadaan sungai-sungai di kawasan tu. Dan ada paras air itu kita akan tengok. Kita dapat maklumat tu kita untuk tindakan seterusnya. Dan maklumat ni juga kita akan refer kepada NET atau Pengurusan Bencana Negeri. Dan kalau boleh pindah-pindah jabatan semua agensi yang terlibat kerja negeri yang ada di sini di Kelantan ni, mereka dah bersedia untuk pusat pembinaan sementara.
In addition, he said rescue agencies would work hand in hand with the local community who were most skilled with the ins and outs of an area during the process of rescuing flood victims. The Malaysian Meteorological Department, Met Malaysia, has issued a severe level continuous rain warning for Terengganu and several areas in Kelantan until this Friday. In a statement today, Met Malaysia said the areas in Kelantan involved Tumpat, Pasir Mas, Kota Baru, Tanah Merah, Bachok, Machang and Pasir Putih.
The Fisheries Department has given its assurance that there is adequate fish supply throughout the northeast monsoon period through landings of the west coast of the peninsula. The department said the existing supply could support the current demand, even with the east coast being affected by the monsoon.
According to West Coast Fish Landing Statistics, production between November 2022 and March 2023 proved adequate to ensure Malaysia's fish stocks. The kembung fish or Indian mackerel species, which is the main fish consumed by Malaysians, is readily available in the country. Based on Fisheries Department statistics, kembung fish landings in 2021 were at 40,959.95 metric tons, valued at 421 million ringgit, and 39,146.95 metric tons, valued at 458 million ringgit for 2022. As for January to September this year, total landings amounted to 33,102 metric tons, valued at 410 million ringgit, with landings of 22,765 metric tons on the west coast and 9,637 metric tons on the east coast of the peninsula. Meanwhile, Fisheries Department Director General Dato' Adnan Hussein said the department has conducted studies and had complete information on a close season for kembung fish in the west coast of Peninsular Malaysia.
Next up in our business segment, RCEP and China initiative attracts 100 million ringgit in investments. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar has given his assurance that he will continue to be responsible for the country and economic growth by always looking for opportunities to establish relationships with countries with potential to attract investments.
He said the government did not miss the opportunity to hold bilateral meetings either officially or separately with several countries while attending the 30th Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation APEC Economic Leaders Meeting in the United States recently.
Ada yang melahirkan kebimbangan bahawa sikap tegas kita berdepan dengan Amerika Syarikat dan beberapa negara Eropah itu akan menjejaskan kedudukan ekonomi. Tentulah tanggungjawab kita memantau terus, tapi setakat ini saya ingin memberikan penjelasan dan jaminan bahawa menemui beberapa pelabur utama Amerika Syarikat, nampaknya keutamaan masih diberikan berdasarkan politik yang stabil, dasar ekonomi yang jelas dan kaedah mempercepatkan proses kelulusan yang sekarang dikendali oleh MIDA.
He added government officials met with several large corporations including Google, Enovix, Microsoft, TikTok and TPG and obtained investments commitments totaling 63.02 billion. He said he was aware that some had expressed concern that Malaysia's firm stance in facing the United States and several European countries regarding the Palestine issue would affect the economic position.
Companies from Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership RCEP countries and China will be investing 100 billion ringgit over the next 5 years in Malaysia to accelerate the country's digital and green economy transformation through the RCEP Innovation and Digital Ecosystem RIDE Madani initiative.
The Malaysia-China Digital Economy Cooperation Council, MCDC, made the announcement today at the PCOM Leadership Summit 2023, PLS 2023, jointly organised by MCDC and the National Tech Association of Malaysia, PCOM. Apart from attracting investments, the goal of RIDE Madani, including proposing that 100 enterprises jointly initiate the RIDE Madani Alliance, investing 100 billion ringgit in Malaysia over the next 5 years and nurturing at least 100 young leaders each year. The RIDE Madani initiative was launched at PLS 2023 today, witnessed by Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadila Yusof, and also present was the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of China to Malaysia, Aoyang Yujing.
Dan di sinilah saya kira PCOM memainkan peranan untuk memastikan bukan saja kita embrace ICT, tapi bagaimana kita kena berada dalam keadaan yang selamat dan bagaimana kita nak wujudkan nilai-nilai yang murni, apatah lagi dengan adanya AI di mana ianya akan mengubah cara kita bekerja, cara kita berfikir.
MCDC had already gathered about 20 companies through the initiative and attracted between 2 billion and 3 billion in investments.
The installation of photovoltaic solar panels by Indah Water Consortium IWK involving 2 phases is expected to reduce carbon emissions amounting to 34.4 kilotons by the year 2027. Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Minister Nik Nazmin Ahmad said it will also be able to cut down on operational costs of the company and ensure that consumers are charged the relevant tariff rate.
Yang mana bagi fasa 1 sebanyak 396 tapak telah pun dipilih di seluruh semenanjung, tapak-tapak yang berpotensi dan berdaya maju secara komersial untuk melakukan pemasangan panel solar. Dan setelah selesai fasa pelaksanaan ini, fasa 1, IWK dijangka dapat menjana hampir 23,000 megawatt jam tenaga solar setahun dengan anggaran penjimatan tahunan elektrik sebanyak 1.9 juta ringgit menjelang tahun 2026.
He added that for Phase 2, a detailed assessment is currently being conducted involving 583 sites which can contribute to 1.8 million ringgit in savings by the year 2027.
Petronas Gas Berhad closed the first 3 quarters of 2023 with a profit after tax PAT of 1.4 billion ringgit, an increase of 10.7% from 1.2 billion ringgit posted within the same period in 2022.
The strong performance for the period was driven by higher profit before tax, a PBT, and the absence of prosperity tax incurred in the financial year 2022. This also demonstrates a Petronas gas resilience amidst challenging market conditions on the back of long-term contracts under the gas processing, gas transportation and regasification segments, supported by consistent world-class operational performance. For the third quarter, Petronas gas revenue improved by 7.4% to 4.8 billion ringgit compared to 4.5 billion ringgit posted in the same quarter last year, mainly contributed by segmental revenue from the utilities segment, which was in line with higher product price. Petronas Gas Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Abdul Aziz Ohman commented the strong financial performance for the first 3 quarters of 2023 highlights the group's continuous focus on improving operational efficiency and cost optimization, ensuring a business resilience despite the lower second regulatory period, RP2, tariff and challenging market conditions. He also said that Petronas remains a focus on pursuing opportunities for growth and creating sustainable value aligned with the National Energy Transition Roadmap, NETR.
Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB is on track to rebrand and transform the Malaysia Green Attribute Trading System, MGATS, into the country's leading digital marketplace for renewable energy certificates, MREC, with the rebranded MGATS is set to launch in the first quarter of 2024.
In a statement today, TNB said the Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Ministry and TNB's unit TNBX Sdn Berhad collaborated to upgrade MGATS, responding to the surging demand for green electricity, particularly from multinational corporations and organizations. Initially introduced as an information hub for renewable energy RE certificates for 4 years, MGATS is now undergoing a significant shift in its functionality, transitioning into a dynamic digital marketplace for REC. TNB President and Chief Executive Officer Datuk Sri Baharin Din meanwhile said the launch of the rebranded MGATS signifies a crucial milestone in Malaysia's journey towards a greener and more sustainable energy future. The upgraded MGATS will provide substantial benefits to business customers, offering a transparent and user-friendly means to acquire green electricity, especially for those aiming for 100% renewable energy consumption goals.
Fitch Ratings expects the benchmark crude palm oil CPO prices to average at $650 per tonne in 2024 before improving towards the end of the year.
It said the estimate is lower compared with $830 per tonne expected for 2023, attributed to higher output of palm and other vegetable oils, due mainly to favourable weather conditions amid a transition in global weather patterns. Fitch Ratings also believed price uplift from strong El Nino is unlikely in 2024. During the last strong El Nino event in 2015 to 2016, the Malaysian benchmark CPO prices fell below $600 per tonne before recovering. It said lower prices should weaken producers' margins and earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization (EBITDA) and raise leverage. However, EBITDA should be supported by higher fruit yields, oil output and lower unit production cost. Weaker prices should also result in low inventories and trade receivables for producers, freeing up a portion of working capital. At present, the Malaysian benchmark CPO spot price is currently trading below $800 per tonne and is likely to average around $830 per tonne in 2023, down almost 30% year on year. Fitch Ratings said the latest data from Malaysia and Indonesia indicate a material improvement in palm oil output, thus it expects further growth in 2024 on conducive soil conditions.
Short-term interbank rates closed steady today on Bank Negara Malaysia's BNM operations to absorb surplus liquidity from the financial system.
Liquidity in the conventional system declined to 39.92 billion ringgit from 42.78 billion ringgit this morning, while the liquidity of Islamic Fund rose to 24.34 billion ringgit from 24.25 billion ringgit previously. Earlier, the central bank called for 2 conventional money market tenders, a quad tender, 1 reverse repo tender and an Islamic reverse repo tender. Elaborating further, Bank Negara also announced the availability of reverse repo, sale and buyback agreements and collateralized commodity murabaha facilities for 1 month and 3-month tenors. The central bank revised a murabaha overnight tender from 24 billion ringgit to 24.3 billion ringgit. At 4 p.m., BNM called for a 39.9 billion ringgit conventional money market tender and a 24.3 billion ringgit murabaha money market tender, both for one-day money. The Malaysia Islamic overnight rate MYORI meanwhile stood at 3% as of 20th of November.
The Malaysian rubber market closed mixed today as market sentiment was affected by lower benchmark crude oil prices and economic uncertainties arising from ongoing geopolitical conflicts, according to a dealer.
The dealer told Bernama that oil prices fell today, reversing the previous day's gains as concerns over weaker demand amid a slowing global economy outweighed the prospect of deepening supply cuts by the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies such as Russia. At 5:49 p.m., global benchmark Brent crude fell 0.56% to $81.86 per barrel. Nevertheless, she said further losses were capped by growing optimism over China's recovery and more stimulus measures amid hopes for an interest rate pause in the United States. The Malaysian Rubber Board's MRB price for standard Malaysian rubber 20 SMR20 declined by half a cent to 692.5 cent per kilogram at noon, while latex in bulk was unchanged at 546 cent per kg. At 5 p.m., the MRB reference price for physical rubber SMR20 stood at 686.5 cent per kg, while latex in bulk was at 544.5 cent per kg.
And that wraps up this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, raising Palestinian issues does not mean domestic problems ignored. Do tune in to World Today coming up tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. on TV2. From river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Shuhaida Arifin. Thank you for watching.